everyone. I am Brian Scott Braun-Dizzle, and I'm here with
Chris Van Meter, CBM, and we're going to be playing Standard for you guys. And I'm really excited because we're going to play with new Purphoros cards.
Exactly. Innistrad Block has got the axe, and Purphoros is the new kid in town.
M13's gone too.
M13's gone too. No more.
BBD can't play any more Thragtusk decks.
I will be unfortunately unable to see the comment. BBD playing another Thragtusk deck again, so it's a little bit of a disappointment to me. But some cool new cards, and I'm actually really excited to play them. So
definitely.
Yep. We will jump into my deck here. It's called Purphoros Midrange? Question
guess.
mark? We don't have a name for it yet.
It's red, white, black.
Yeah, it's red, white, black, pretty much the, I guess, Team Italia color shard. So this is kind of one of the fringe decks in Block Constructed right now, and I think it gets a lot of pretty awesome new tools with Purphoros from what we've seen so far. Obviously, there's still a lot of cards left to be spoiled. At the time of we're doing this, there's maybe 80 cards total.
Yeah, it's like 82, 83-ish.
Yeah, so there's still
we still don't know the dual lands. We still don't know the Black God.
There's still a lot of stuff left to be spoiled, but with what we've seen so far, there's a lot of new cards that I think are pretty awesome in this deck, so I'm going to kind of jump right into it. Basically, the core of this deck is around Purphoros, God of the Forge. His abilities are that he is indestructible like all the other gods, and if you have 5 or more red color symbols among permanents you control, he becomes a creature, and he's a 6/5 creature. And the ability he has is whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, he gets to hit a player for 2 damage.
He hits all opponents, so it even has relevance in EDH or Archenemy.
Okay, I didn't realize that,
yeah,
but that's actually pretty awesome.
All opponents.
So he hits all opponents, so that's pretty sweet.
For dose.
For dose damage, and basically the deck is based around that ability with Young Pyromancer and Assemble the Legion to generate some tokens. I'm especially excited with Assemble the Legion because every turn you get to put a couple of tokens into play and hit him for a million damage. And he also has the ability to pay 2 and a red to give all your creatures +1/+0, which is also very good with Assemble the Legion.
Exactly.
So basically, the deck is based around Purphoros, and a lot of the other cards in here, Boros Reckoner and Ash Zealot, for example, are there to turn him into a creature, while also just being very good cards in and of themselves. Ash Zealot's very good in the block constructed format right now because it blocks all the creatures from the mono red deck very profitably, and while Ash Zealot's still just a reasonable threat against some of the control decks too. And Boros Reckoner is pretty self-explanatory. It's an awesome creature and gives you 3 devotion to red. So really hits pretty sweet. Beyond that, here we have a lot of spells in the deck too.
You want to have spells. We're playing Young Pyromancer.
Exactly. Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more spells, and maybe with some tinkering, that'll be the direction it goes. But for one, splashing black for Thoughtseize and Rakdos' return, there's definitely the question, is it actually necessary to splash black for these cards? Personally, I think that it is, because I have played these decks enough to know that it's very hard to beat a Sphinx's Revelation without cards like this in your deck. So I definitely feel like it's pretty necessary to have these cards, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just not the case. But that's something to find out. 4 Mizzium Mortars, just a very solid early piece of removal, plus the Overload's kind of like Bonfire reminiscent.
Yeah, but at least you see that one coming.
Yeah, you definitely see Mizzium Mortars coming. Sometimes you do with Bonfire too. You just know your opponent's about to hit you.
That's true.
And War Leader's Helix, I think this card's very awesome. Just a huge, thorn in the side. I was going to use a probably less friendly term for that, but just a huge thorn in the side to the aggressive decks. Kills one of their best creatures and gives you 4 life to fog an attack basically, or counter a burn spell. And then we have a couple more new cards. I have 1 Hammer of Purphoros. What this does is it gives all your creatures haste, and you can pay 2 and a red to sack a land.
Yep, you tap it.
To tap it to sack a land.
Sack a mountain.
Is it a mountain? Or is it any land? I think it's any land.
Yeah. Yeah, it's any land.
Yep, you can sack any land, and you get to put a 3/3 golem into play.
And it's a colorless artifact enchantment golem.
Yep.
Token.
And the awesome thing about the golem is it has haste, because Hammer gives it haste. So.
And it triggers Purphoros.
It also triggers Purphoros. Yep.
So you basically just get to 5 your opponent.
And there's one other awesome thing you can do, which is the old turn 2 Ash Zealot, turn 3 Hammer, turn 4 Purphoros, which, since you have Ash Zealot and Hammer in play, he becomes a creature already.
Because his red also counts towards his own devotion.
Yep, his red counts.
Which is a little weird, but
look, the guy.
I guess it makes sense.
He's very devoted to himself. All right, he loves himself. All right, he's an awesome
I
guy.
guess.
But yeah, you get a hasty six power guy on turn 4.
6 power indestructible creature.
With some sweet abilities. So that's a pretty cool combo. I don't know how good it is. If it's really good, maybe there should just be more hammers in here. But
I have a feeling that the hammer's going to be really good. Thankfully, they're all legendary, so we don't get to have like multiple going. The green one is just like a mini planeswalker. Has like 4 different abilities on it.
Yeah.
But the hammer I feel like is awesome. It's just one of those cards that it augments your deck perfectly, but it can actually just win games by itself. Like you and your opponent are both flooded, and you're just making a 3/3 and attacking them every turn.
Yeah, you're just hammering it home.
Hammering away.
Yep. And then last we have probably one of the coolest cards in the set, Chain to the Rocks, which we have 7 basic mountains and 8 more non-basic mountains. So we have 15 mountains to put Chain to the Rocks on. Pretty high likelihood we'll be able to enchant something with it. And barring our opponent sweeping our streets or crushing our brambles or anything of that nature, generally it's basically just a 1 mana remove anything.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a Swords to Plowshares type card. There isn't a lot of stuff that gets rid of it that's being played right now. I imagine that's going to change as the format moves forward, since there's a lot of enchantment type cards in the block. Well, that will be in Theros, and that we already know about in Theros. But even with that said, like it's just 1 mana, get rid of your guy so I can attack.
Yep.
Like, how are you really going to beat that? I don't know. These guys are also indestructible, so it gets rid of the gods.
It does. Well, as long as they're a creature, it gets rid of the gods. So.
Yeah, I mean, but if they're not, then you're kind of fine for now, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, some of the abilities are pretty sweet. So.
I hope so.
But yeah, so this is the main deck for Purphoros' minions, or whatever we want to call this deck. As for the mana base, we have 5 guild gates, I guess I should mention. Basically, just want to make sure we have all our colors. Beyond that, we haven't seen any non-basic lands yet, so we're kind of basic heavy, which is a little gross in a 3-color deck. But we're majority red based, so it's okay to have a lot of mountains. And other than that, like, our mana base is going to deal a lot of damage to us. Some of our lands are going to come into play tapped, but we want to ensure that we hit all of our colors.
One thing that I do want to note about this deck in particular, I wanted to play one of them in my deck, but I don't feel like I have enough permanents to support it. But the Nyx land that you pay 2 and tap it, and you choose a color, and you get X of that color equal to your devotion to that color.
Right.
Like, with Sphinx's Revelation, it'd just be awesome to make, just draw like a billion cards. But with this deck, you can just fireball. Like even if you have, Reckon or Ash Zealot Purphoros, it's still like +2 mana just off of that to be able to rack those returns. So I think that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, that is kind of cool actually. It's definitely a consideration. Depending on how the mana gets better, Mutavault could also be a consideration too.
Definitely.
Just a very powerful card. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump over to the sideboard.
Yes.
All right, we are back for the sideboard. I'm going to jump off with Archangel of Thunny.
It's a good card with tokens.
Yep, it is. Is always Thunny in Philadelphia. So we have 2 Archangels, and basically, yeah, it's a great card with all the tokens we have, and it's pretty much a great card against a lot of the aggressive decks. This could have also been like something like Blood Baron, but I like Archangel a little bit better because we get to gain some life and then also pump we're basically gaining the same amount of life as Blood Baron, but we also get to pump all our like Young Pyromancer or Assembled Legion tokens. So it has a lot of like powerful upside there. We also have Elspeth, Sun's Champion. A lot of Sun cards in the set so far, but Elspeth's another one. I think this card's really good.
I like it. It's actually my favorite card that's been spoiled so far. Well, it's been confirmed so far from Wizards. I think the card is absolutely awesome. It does a lot of stuff. The +1 giving it 3 creatures is just huge.
I mean, it's just 3 dudes.
I mean, it's just 3 dudes, but
yeah.
It's 3 dudes.
Yeah.
On the +1, and then it's a Wrath of God that sticks around and then can kill your opponent later. So.
Yep, and I really like this card in our deck as her +1 is 6 damage with the Purphoros in play.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
And none of our creatures cost 4 or more, so her -3 is a one-sided wrath.
It's power, it's not cost.
Oh, it's power?
Yeah,
Okay.
Power 4 or greater.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, none of
so
our creatures have 4 or greater power except for Purphoros, and
this even gets to stay around if you have to use it. It's
even Archangel, yeah.
pretty
So
sweet.
Elspeth is pretty awesome. Her ultimate probably isn't that necessary because once you've ticked her up that many times, they're probably dead.
Yeah, I just keep making 3 dudes.
Yep, keep making 3 dudes. Beyond that, we have a couple more Chain to the Rocks. Like, I don't know how people like to get their rocks off, but I prefer to exile creatures, so we definitely want these in here. Just
They're off the chain. They're off the chain.
Yeah, definitely off the chain. Yeah, this card is, rock solid. I don't know what else to say, but it's just a very good removal spell, and there's going to be a lot of times where like Mizzium Mortars doesn't get the job done. For example, I can think of like some Tristanis, some Advent of the Worms, maybe some E-Hondas out there that just are really tough to kill because they have 5 toughness.
Yeah, chain actually seems really awesome against Advent of the Worm.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very good removal spell for cards like that. Also, I don't know if you've heard the news, but Rakdos is back. So.
Yeah, he's back. I think Rakdos Return is actually a very good card. In decks like this, like you said, it's hard to beat a Sphinx's Revelation. It's hard for a lot of decks to beat a Sphinx's Revelation, and this is one of the ways you can do that.
Yeah, Rakdos Return is one of the best ways to do it. It also is very good at killing Jace Architect of Thought, which is another very hard to beat card when you're putting a lot of 1/1 tokens into play.
Definitely.
So Rakdos Return to kill a Jace is pretty key. Thoughtseize is the same thing, just another removal spell. This could also be something like Sin Collector. Depending on how bad the control matchups are, Sin Collector is another reasonable option, but because we're a base red deck with like white and black as kind of like the 2 splash colors, I didn't want to have a white and black card in the deck because I thought it might be too hard to cast.
Definitely.
Flames of the Firebrand. This card I think is going to be very key against the aggressive decks because at least in block constructed, all the red aggro decks are just a bunch of X1s, which is also where Electrickery comes in. These cards, there's like the Denizen, there's Legion Loyalist, just like tons of
Firefist Striker.
Yeah, Firefist Striker, just tons of like X1s that both Flames of the Firebrand and Electrickery deal with pretty easily. So even Young Peasy, I'm sure we'll see a lot of Young Peasies out there. So having these cards are just very good answers to those cards. And then Wear Tear. This is a card that's seen 0 play really so far, but there's a lot of enchantment artifact creatures or what have you in the new set. So I expect Wear Tear to go up a lot in value. And this is like a perfect shell for it since we can cast both sides pretty easily.
Absolutely. And I really liked Wear and Tear in like full block limited. In fact, I frequently would main deck it. A lot of times you'd be able to get like some decent enchantment plus a Cluestone here and there. And it could just be that Cluestones might even end up being playable in this new standard. I felt like they were very close to being playable and been block constructed anyways. And if that's the case, Wear and Tear just becomes really awesome.
Yep, definitely. Like even Rakdos Key Rune or things like that are very playable. So there's a lot of incidental damage that Wear and Tear can do.
Definitely.
But this is the sideboard for Purphoros and his fiery minions. So I hope this deck is as cool as I think it is, and I'm pretty excited to play it.
Well, we're going to find out.
Only one way.